When one company drops the ball and the other one knocks out of the park, you know we got something to talk about. What's up, Jobber Nation? It's your boy, Jobber Joe, back again with episode number 3 of the Joking Jobber Wrestling Podcast. Now I've got to be real with you. This weekend was a tale of two completely different shows. WWE gave us their new shiny toy, WRESTLEPALOOZA. But let's be honest, it didn't exactly live up to the hype. The pacing dragged, the booking was flat, and for a debut event, it left me saying, really? This is it? Meanwhile, AEW walked in Toronto with All Out and absolutely blew the roof off the place. From start to finish, it felt like an AEW classic. Wild matches, emotional storytelling, and moments that had the crowd and me, well, completely losing it. So here's the deal. Tonight I'm diving into both shows. I'll break down what went wrong for WWE and what went oh so right for AEW, and where both companies go from here. This is the Joking Jobber Wrestling Podcast. Let's talk wrestling the way it's supposed to be talked about. Alright, let's start with WrestlePalooza, because look, I wanted this to be so good. WWE hyped this up there like it was going to be the next WrestleMania or SummerSlam. New branding, fresh city, stacked card on paper, but when it came down to it, it felt like an overproduced episode of Monday Night Raw with a fancier logo. The crowd? Hot early, but you could feel it die down from halfway through. The pacing of the show just dragged. Instead of building momentum, it felt like they were hitting the brakes after every match. Now, the main event should have been a home run. You had two top stars, a world title on the line, but the finish was safe, predictable, and left fans shrugging instead of standing. When your big closing shots gets silence instead of the pops, you've got a big problem. Now, I'll give credit where it's due. There was a couple solid matches sprinkled in. One or two performers carried their end and tried to give us that big fight feel, but overall, the show lacked spark, it lacked urgency, and for a debut PLE, I expected WWE to swing for the fences, and instead, they just bunted. And I gotta say, when you name a show WrestlePalooza, you better deliver something completely special. Instead of we got something completely forgettable. And that's dangerous for the WWE right now because the fans are hungry for excitement. Let's start off with WrestlePalooza's kickoff match with John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. And honestly, this was supposed to set the tone for the night. Instead, it set the wrong kind of tone. Brock Lesnar didn't just beat Cena, he demolished him. Suplex after suplex, ground and pound, pure domination. And it wasn't competitive. It wasn't dramatic. It was a one-sided beatdown. Cena got a little offense in, but it never felt like he was in it. And here's the problem. Sure, Brock looking like a beast is cool, but when your legend, your franchise guy on his retirement tour gets completely swatched in the opening match of a brand new event, it sends a whole show into a weird place. The crowd went from hyped to stunned silence. And honestly, it drained the energy out of the whole building, including myself being at home for this. So instead of getting people fired up for a historic debut, WWE gave us a lopsided demolition that felt more depressing than exciting. It was memorable, but it was memorable for all the wrong reasons. Another match that stood out of WrestlePalooza's card was Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. And listen, this was a good match. These two clearly have chemistry, and they've got the history. And when the bell rang, they delivered. Hard-hitting, crisp, and that big fight feel that the only top guy brings. But here's the catch. It was completely short, way too short. Just as the crowd was getting into it, just as the storyline was starting to build up, it wrapped up. Cody picked up the win, but it felt like we only got the first chapter of what could have been an epic battle. Now, this might have been one of the brighter spots of the show, no doubt, but it left me wanting a lot more. In a show that dragged in other places, this was one of the matches that actually needed more time to breathe. Now on the flip side, let's give credit where it's due. The mixed tag match delivered. Not because it was a 5-star clinic, but because it gave us one thing the fans were dying to see. AJ Lee back in a WWE ring. From the second her music hit, the crowd went absolutely nuts. It was a goosebumps moment. She slid right back into her role like she never left. Quick, fiery, sharp as ever. The chemistry with Punk was there, the storyline worked, and honestly, the whole match felt elevated just because of her presence. Now, it wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. AJ's return gave WrestlePalooza its one true moment, the kind of thing fans will actually remember from the show. And when you've got a card that felt mostly forgettable, that one spark matters. AJ Lee stole the spotlight, and I'm here for it. Now, I've got to mention Valkyrie's match too. It was solid bell to bell, as she always brings intensity and a unique style that stands out. But honestly, it kind of got lost in the shuffle. The crowd wasn't as invested, maybe because where it was placed on the card, and it didn't get the spotlight it deserved. It had good wrestling, no doubt. But by the end of the night, it wasn't the match people were talking about. And what makes this pay-per-view even worse is that Triple H went to the media in the weeks leading up to WrestlePalooza, promising surprises and unforgettable moments, saying that this was going to be a can't-miss show, and then he delivered absolutely none of it. Zero. Especially after purposely booking a brand new pay-per-view on the same night as AEW's All Out. That was supposed to be a power move, but instead, it blew up in WWE's face. Bottom line, WrestlePalooza felt like an overproduced episode of Raw. For all the hype, it felt completely flat. The only thing saving it from a total disaster was AJ's return and Cody versus Drew being decent. Otherwise, completely forgettable. Now let's talk about the real star of the weekend, AEW's All Out. If WrestlePalooza left fans cold, All Out lit the fuse and blew the roof completely off the place in Toronto. From the opening bell to closing shot, this was AEW at its absolute best. The crowd was white hot, the pacing was perfect, and every match felt like it mattered. You've had chaos, you've had storytelling, and you even had those jaw-dropping moments that make AEW must-see. The main event, incredible. The kind of match where the drama builds and the false finishes keep you guessing. And the crowd is hanging on every second. That's how you close a pay-per-view. The ladder match, pure carnage. Insane spots, risky bumps, everything fans expected and more. The coffin match, brutal creative, and one of the most violent showcases AEW thrives on. Now, let's not forget the surprises, debuts, swerves, little shocks sprinkled throughout the night. That unpredictability is the AEW's calling card, and they've nailed it completely here. When the dust settled, All Out didn't just beat WrestlePalooza, it embarrassed it. AEW, they've proved they still know how to bring the pay-per-view magic. And if you're a fan, this show reminded you of exactly why we all love wrestling. Now, let's get into one of the most talked about matches of All Out. Kofi and Christian teaming up against FTR. On paper, this was a complete dream match. Two of the greatest tag teams of this generation colliding, and inside the ring, it delivered. FTR brought their usual old-school, hard-hitting style, while Kofi and Christian leaned into their chemistry and their history as brothers in arms. The match was tight, competitive, and felt like every sequence mattered. FTR made them work for every inch, and for a while, it looked like Kofi and Christian might come up short, but when it came to the moment, that changed completely. The shocking return of Beth Copeland. When Beth came out, the place absolutely exploded when she appeared. She cut off outside interference, got physical, gave her husband's team the boost they needed. That one moment shifted their momentum, and from there, Cope and Christian capitalized, hitting their signature teamwork to seal the victory. It wasn't just a great match, it was a statement. The return of Beth Copeland added the emotional pop, reminding fans that AEW can give you pure wrestling and those goosebump surprises in the same package. Now, let's get into my favorite match of the night, the coffin match. And man, this was brutal. AEW gave us everything you want in the stipulation, violence, creativity, and that constant sense of danger. From the opening bell, the pace was relentless. We saw wild dives, weapons come into play, and some absolutely nasty bumps that made the crowd wince. Darby Allin, what else can you say about this guy? He is completely fearless. Every time he's in one of these matches, he puts his body on the line in ways that nobody else in wrestling does right now. The coffin itself became a character in this match. Teases of the lids closing, desperate escapes, and that final moment where it slams shut after a pack return, the crowd went absolutely crazy. It felt like it was a perfect finish to a war. What made it work is that it just wasn't mindless carnage. There was storytelling in the violence. Every big spot had meaning. Every close call mattered. AEW once again proved when it comes to specialty matches, they know exactly how to turn brutality into must-see moments. So here's the verdict, Jobber Nation. This weekend was a tale of two shows. AEW All Out was everything you want out of professional wrestling. Exciting, unpredictable, packed with moments fans will remember. WWE WrestlePalooza, it was the exact opposite. Overhyped, underdelivered, and already being graded like homework nobody wants to brag about. Even ESPN slapped a C rating on it. And honestly, I think that's generous. AEW outshined WWE in every category that mattered. Match quality, crowd energy, storytelling, and surprises. Tony Khan and crew reminded the world that AEW can still own a weekend, still deliver those jaw-dropping moments, and still feel fresh. Meanwhile, WWE has to take a hard look in the mirror. You can't go on media calls, promise surprises and unforgettable moments, book brand new pay-per-views on the same night as All Out, and then pull out a mid-level show. Fans expected more, and if they don't get it, they're going to start flipping the channel. Where do we go from here? For AEW, the answer is simple. Keep the momentum, ride the wave into Grand Slam, full gear, keep giving the fans reasons to believe, and keep the unpredictability edge alive. For WWE, on the other hand, it's about trust. You can't dangle hype and deliver mediocrity. If they want WrestlePalooza to be a brand that sticks, the next outing has to blow people away. No more safe booking, no more empty promises. They need to shock us. They need to deliver, or else fans are going to keep seeing them as the company that plays it safe while AEW takes all the risks. This weekend completely proved that AEW outshined WWE. And as a fan, I hope WWE gets the message. Because when both companies are firing, wrestling wins, and so do we as fans. Well, that just about wraps it up, Jobber Nation. This has been the third episode of the Joking Jobber Wrestling Podcast. And what a ride it's been. From WWE's underwhelming WrestlePalooza and AEW's electric All Out, we've broken down the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I appreciate you for rocking with me for another week. And trust me, we're just getting started. Bigger shows, hotter takes, and plenty more jobber-style storytelling coming your way. I'm Jobber Joe, reminding you that every champ was once a jobber, and every jobber's got a story. See you next time.